Hi there, welcome to Belleville Community Gardens. Today we have Johnny on his own by himself and me, Sue, who's recording. Today we are doing mushroom risotto, mushroom and leek risotto, and I'll give you a wee pan there, mushroom and leek risotto. Right Johnny,
Cool.
over to you.
So today, doing things a wee bit different because of the length of time that risotto takes to make. We've pre-cooked it and we're going to take a wee taste in a minute, but I'll talk you through the ingredients and the method. So we've got 400 grams of arboreal rice, and that's the rice that you use to make risotto. We've got mushrooms, shallots, leeks, stock, vegetable oil, grated hard cheese, garlic, fresh rosemary, thyme, chives, crushed black pepper and hint of salt to taste. So really interesting one, risotto, because really versatile, can add lots and lots of different stuff to it. We'll come over and have a wee look at what it looks like.
Now how amazing does this look? Look at that.
So
Mmm.
like I said, a wee bit different today in the sense that you won't actually get to see it cooking, but I will talk everybody through how to cook this. So
It just makes things so much easier because of the length of time it takes to cook it. Plus the fact our internet's not the world's best at the moment.
yeah,
So we're using Sally's data, but
and that's the 25 minutes minimal to cook this. And the packet actually said 45 minutes, which I think is a bit long. But so we'll just talk through how to chop some vegetables just to get you started. So mushrooms, I have taken the root out. You don't have to take the root out, but take the root out, lay it flat, one finger in front, two behind, thumb and pinky behind that. Blade, I hold it like that. You can hold it like that also, but I hold it like this. And then you're moving the knife away from yourself in a rocking motion. This finger here is your guide, and you're just moving away, cutting nice and thin, like so. If that feels a wee bit unstable, you can absolutely flip it and do that.
and how easy does that look? If that was me, I'd take my fingers off.
Well, Sue was doing a lot of carrots earlier on, so
I won't show you the colour of my hands.
yeah. So with this, I usually remove the roots just because it doesn't sit completely flat and it can be a wee bit dangerous when it's like that. You can hold it on its side. I wouldn't though, to be honest. I would take the roots out just like that, and then you can use them in a soup. You could use them to make stock, which we might do a video on at one point or another. So that's how you do your mushrooms there. Leeks.
It's funny, I'm not a professional, but by any means, but I do that as well. I take the things out of the mushrooms, the wee stalks out of the mushrooms.
Take the stalks out. Alright, so this is a leek, funny looking leek. So what the best thing to do, I think, is get your leek, and I've chopped it that way, then I've flipped it, and I've chopped it that way. You can actually do that another 2 times if you like.
Hi everyone, good to see you here.
So what this does is it makes it really easy to wash, because you get this now. So you can get a tap down there, just really easy to wash, because leeks are some of the dirtier kind of veg that you'll get.
It's very hard to actually get a leek properly cleaned.
I know, it is. And then once it's like this, because you've made more incisions that way, it just makes for a finer cut. The drawback is it's a wee bit harder to hold together, but you know, it's quite a small cut for...
But then that's easier as well, because it's small cuts you want, so...
Yeah, especially for risotto. I would suggest anybody, you know, like I've been saying for day one, this is only guidelines, but whenever making a risotto, I would always suggest have your stock made up, have all your veg prepped. As it says here in step 1, prepare all your vegetables, wash and slice or chop them to preference, and roughly chop or crush your garlic. The reason for that is risotto's got a really bad tendency to stick, so you kind of need everything prepped, and then when you're at a pot at the stove you're kind of all go, and you don't want to be running back, oh I forgot to chop my garlic, or I forgot to chop my leeks, and because you'll end up with it all sticking and overcooked and stuff.
Yeah, I've experienced that.
Yes,
There's nothing worse.
No, it's a nightmare. Right, so shallots. We've got two types of shallots here. I don't actually know the names of them. This is the long one, this is the wee fat one. So
The wee dumpy one?
The wee dumpy one, aye. So, just like an onion, especially this one, these are probably my favourite. Because it's exactly like chopping an onion. Take the top off, go through, and then we just peel it.
See, I never thought of that. I always peel it first. Is it easier to peel it once you've...
I think it's easier to peel it this way. I know that some people do peel them, right, and it does take a bit longer. There's pros and cons to both. I would say that the con to the way that I do it is, see if I'm doing lots and lots of onions, see every time I do that, you tend to get wee bits like that on your board.
Right.
Whereas if you peel it first, you don't get that, you know. So as it's a kind of prioritising what's best for you. But yeah, these are just like wee onions. So you peel it, and similar, you know, you can either do the bridge method with your thumb and your forefinger, and you do incisions down. Probably the safest way to do it. I would suggest that people do it like that. I still do the, so I'm still resting, and then when I get to there, maybe I would go to the bridge method, and then I don't like it when I'm close to my thumb, so, and then we just do it the other way around. And this is a really good thing about shallots, is you're able to get such a fine cut, so you can see how small that is.
Because they seem to cut better than onions.
Aye, they do. They kind of stay fresher for longer as well, I find, in most cases. So
see, you learn something new every day.
And I mean, you know, that's where if I was doing that with a normal onion, I would either, after I'd done my cuts down that way, you know, if any of you watched the lives when Stevie was here, he was doing cuts this way as well. Or I might be inclined to go through it again, but with shallots, I mean, because they're smaller to start with, they're just so easy just to get a wee small fine cut.
That's quite easy to cut, isn't it?
Aye. So these are the kind of long ones, you can see there.
And you found out the name of them.
Aye, I know if anybody knows.
I know if it's Sally that was doing it, she'd be able to round off exactly what they were called, but unfortunately I'm not that way. I don't know the ins and outs of onions and shallots.
Yeah, so like Sue was talking about, she normally peels her onions first, and there is a point to that, because you can see here, when you do it the way I was doing it, you get these wee rooty bits. So you do it the way that you like to do it.
But it seemed to peel easier. See, when it was in small bits, it seemed to peel easier, as opposed to when you peel an onion, it doesn't come off as well.
No, it doesn't. That also depends on the quality of the onion, and that's what I was saying about this. These tend to keep a lot better. But yeah, so exactly the same process. You know, you're just making incisions in this way, and if you're ever not sure, nature has a good little way of showing you these lines here.
The lines down there, and just cut down the lines.
Yeah.
That makes things a lot easier, because it's like one of them wrapping paper you get, and you get the wrapping paper and you're so squared in the back.
Yeah.
And it's easier to cut. So for the lines, it's much easier.
And same again, you know, just right along.
Now look at that. See, now that was me, I'd have lost at least 3 fingers by now.
Well, you know what? At the same time though, if I was to... Sue doesn't like using big knives, she likes using wee knives.
No, I like using smaller knives.
If I used a small knife to do them carrots, I wouldn't have any fingers, because you're more likely to cut yourself with a wee knife than you are a big knife, especially if you're used to using big knives.
That's it, because you're used to using, whereas I'm not, so I find it easier with a smaller knife.
So now we're just going to do the garlic, which will show you how to get nice and small without going to the trouble of mincing it. So all I done was there, I took the wee root end off and peeled it, as opposed to crushing it. I've showed you how to crush it before to release the skin. But for this I think I'll go with that. And then once
So we slices.
yeah, and then go that way.
Hi Valerie. See you love cooking with shallots. I think you've got a friend here with Johnny as well.
Hi Valerie. Yeah. So you know, I'm not being too precious with this, I'm just kind of grabbing it together as best as I can, because it's not too bad, because once we've got it down to about this, we can always rock chop back through it.
See, that's something I've never got the hang of. I mean,
That one?
I'm not in the kitchen very often, but that rock and chop, I just can't seem to get that.
So
I suppose it's practice, it's nothing else, it's practice.
It's practice. The only other really advice before we go on to some nutritional information and stuff, the only other advice I could give people is try and get used to holding your blade like that. As opposed to that, try and get used to holding your blade like that. It's just more an extension of yourself, and it feels, to me, just feels a lot better. Some people like to hold it with their thumb and their 1 or 2 fingers, other people like to use 2 or 3 fingers like that. I usually do it like that. And if anybody's really wanting to get good at this, I would actually suggest practicing these things when you're
You
veg.
could practice, couldn't you?
Just
You
on
could
your go, just get used to the emotion. But yeah, so we'll go over some of the health information. So mushrooms are high in antioxidants, which are molecules that help to protect our bodies from something called free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules in our bodies that are responsible for the effects of aging and some degenerative conditions. So yeah, mushrooms, they're really good for source of protein, they're good for anti-aging, so I don't know if that might apply to some people who might like stuff like that. Yeah, just a whole host of health benefits. Really high in protein, like I was saying there, which is really good, particularly if you are vegetarian or vegan but still interested in maintaining a healthy diet. I think it's really important. You know, we push veganism here, and I think it's really great, but I think it's good to know how to do it healthily. So you can't just go eating like chips, you know, you need to eat a balanced diet. Mushrooms are really good, high source of protein.
So
a lot of things, you know.
That's it. Mushroom, I'm not vegan, but I'm trying to be vegetarian, and I add mushrooms to virtually everything that moves.
Yeah, except my mushroom soups, you'll not eat that.
I don't like the taste of the mushroom soup. I don't know what it is, I just don't like the taste of mushroom soup. Hi Nicole, I see you're watching. She said, also really weird watching this because you're right behind my house.
Alright.
Come up and join us if you want.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I'm going to read this and then I'll talk a wee bit more.
Hi Marianne.
So, the mushroom is the fruit of a fungus that grows through the ground in decaying organic matter, like old logs, leaves, etc., via a network of small white threads known as mycelium. So that's just talking about, you know, when you've got the mushroom, that is effectively the fruit or the flower, or, you know, and then down below you'll have all of these roots that all spread, called mycelium. So,
Every day's a school day, and you say I didn't know that.
check this. Scientists have discovered that fungus, plants and trees communicate via this network known as, hold on, mycorrhizal, I cannot pronounce the word, I'm afraid, but what it pretty much means is mushrooms can have symbiotic relationships with other plants. So, for example, I planted mushrooms, I laid down mycelium in one of the beds in the garden, and we purposely planted gooseberry bushes there because they've got a symbiotic relationship. The mushroom helps the gooseberry bushes to grow, and the gooseberry bushes help the mushrooms to grow, and they did. The gooseberry bushes really grew. Slugs got in my mushrooms.
Slugs get to everything.
Yeah, which I wasn't very happy about.
But please don't use any slug killer, use salt or something, or sand. Salt actually kills them, but see if you use something like sand, they won't cross the sand and it won't kill them.
Yeah, so the last wee bit on that is pretty much, yeah, so the mushrooms with their symbiotic partners, other plants, they're good at exchanging essential nutrients and waste materials, and even passing information about the environment, threats and changes going on around them, which is really interesting. And you know, scientists are starting to look at it more, but This type of communication and connection in nature is known as a symbiotic relationship, where both parties benefit from the situation, living in harmony and helping each other to thrive. So I think
Just like we're doing here in the community.
just like what we're doing, yeah.
Yep.
So I think we'd been to, where was it we went to see the mushrooms? Remember, was it Argentina?
Pass. I actually can't remember, but it was near Argentina if I remember rightly.
Because I know that there was particular types of trees grown there, and they had mushrooms grown around the root area, and the mushrooms were benefiting for the trees are benefiting from the mushrooms.
Because they're all roots, it's all the roots.
But I remember the guy saying something about, you know, it's almost as if all the mycelium's connected, and if a tree or a plant catches a disease, it can actually, the mushrooms can supposedly kill one another to avoid the infection of that. So
Yeah, that's interesting.
They're very smart, and you know, if you don't buy it, fair enough. It's still been looked into a lot, but look it up if you go on just on the internet and type in mushroom symbiotic relationship. Somebody will do it way more justice and explain it way better. But that's just some information there. But step one, prepare the veggies we saw there. Get your jug with your stock all nice and set out. Then you're getting your oil. You're putting your ingredients in, cooking it for 3 to 4 minutes, adding your rice in, then you stir in your herbs, and then at that stage you need to put the liquid in, bit by bit by bit. So,
Right, Marianne, here's the bit. Here we go, close up of exactly what you're going to cook. Ta-da!
yeah. I'm just
Am I making your mouth water now?
just going to get a couple of plates and plate up.
Hi Nicole, we'll wave back to you.
So as I says guys, I do apologise that it's a wee bit different for usual, and it's not, you know, watching me cooking it, it's just it would have been a bit hard to keep an eye on it and talk at the same time. So plus the internet's dodgy, but we seem to be okay today.
Yep, yeah, because we're on Sally's data, so we seem to be alright. It hasn't cut out.
So some people will ask, you know, how do I know that it's cooked? That's probably the most common question. Different people like their risotto different. This is probably on the side of slightly overdone. I feel as if I was in a restaurant, chef might say that risotto's overcooked, but it's how you like it. Some people take it more like soup, other people like it really, really stiff, but the way that I judge it is, if you do that, so I would have liked that line. See how it's moving back in? I would have liked it to move in just a wee bit faster, which tells me it's slightly overdone, but you know.
So it would be, the faster it moved in, the more liquid would be in it, maybe?
Yeah, exactly, yeah, the looser it would be effectively, aye. So.
It smells amazing.
It does, it smells really nice. Another thing guys I would recommend, if you're going to make this in big quantities, I would maybe go into supermarkets and grab a few different types of mushrooms. I think it tends to taste a wee bit dull if you use the one kind of mushroom. Tastes so much better if you use all different types.
I like
of
chestnut mushrooms. Chestnut mushrooms are.
Chestnut mushrooms are nice. Right.
There we go, guys.
It's nice.
It looks amazing, but I am not putting my filthy hands in short.
Okay.
I've been cutting carrots most of the morning, and my hands are rotten. So there it goes, and a wee look. Yeah.
Very nice, and you know, really versatile. So all different cheeses can be used. You can use milk. You can use cream. You could use oat milk. You could use coconut milk.
Oat milk would be good, wouldn't it?
You could do just some ideas before we go off. I mean, Kira that was here done a really nice, was that a spring veg? Had asparagus and stuff through it. Really, really nice. And here I
Can't remember that one.
I done a, what was that, tomato and Stilton, which I didn't think was going to be nice. It was very nice.
A lot of people did say that was really nice. Personally, I'm not keen on Stilton, but that's just a personal thing. But a lot of people said it was lovely.
I mean, you could even, there's so many things that you could do. You could maybe even do like, I don't want to say curried risotto, but you could do a spiced one. You could do like a spiced pumpkin coming up to Halloween. You could do pumpkin for your risotto. So many things you could do with it. So please go and try, and leave comments and let us know what kind of risotto you made.
There you go.
From me. Bye.
Right,
Thank you.
so thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll give you another wee close-up of the plate. Look at that. Another wee close-up of the pot.
Video. That's for me.
There you go. Right, now I want you all to go away and make some yourselves. You know how to do it. And post your pictures. It was good talking to you all. And we'll see you next week. Bye.